Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter. You know what is really exciting is that they just added in a quest where you can fight Ibushi alone. I know people are saying Ibushi solo, but it's not a solo quest. You can do it with other players, but he's finally in his own quest where you can fight him. He's got tons of HP. His attack doesn't seem buffed, so it just seems like a normal Ibushi, but with a lot of HP. And the fact that you can finally hunt it and carve it in a quest, which means it'll be much easier to get Ibushi gems, which have been notoriously hard to get. What I hope is that will actually introduce people to using his weapons, because I think they're really good. I've been a long-time fan of them, and, it's been hard to recommend because, it's hard to get gems. So, I wanted to show you off all of the weapons, the awesome sort of gales, like windy sound effects that they have with them, the beautiful designs, how they glow in the dark, and then give you both mine and Yuna's top 3 picks. All of these are very good when it comes to terms of attack. Very solid, long blue sharpness, and dragon to boot. Even if you don't need the dragon, just having the comfort of a 210 or so attack weapon with long blue is fantastic. It doesn't have any slots, which is kind of a downfall, but these weapons are great. So let's start out with the greatsword. So the greatsword, if you notice, it has this sort of nice glow-in-the-dark element here on the blade up here, which is very nice. And when you swing it, it has this traditional, like, Ibushi sound effect. You hear that? It sounds really cool, doesn't it? It's got a nice thin blade, so it's not like the blade itself isn't that chunky, but it's a nice big slab, which reminds me of his horns. It's got good thickness to it. It's got the sort of serrated, like, 2 sides. It's got, like, the frills on the base, which is really nice, and it's got that little design logo in there. It's just a beautiful, beautiful weapon. I just love how it looks. I do wonder about the hunter, though. The spike coming out of the grip looks like if you poke yourself with it, it would hurt really bad. Okay, now let's go over to longsword. Okay, so the stats on the sword is 200 attack with long blue, 23 dragon. As with the other melee weapons, you'll have a choice between dragon boost, anti-aerial species, which I believe is like a 10% boost, but don't quote me on that. And Ibushi Soul, which I don't recommend. It just means that for every piece of Narwa armor you have on, which at this point, even if you're doing a Storm Soul set, you're only going to ever have the maximum 3 pieces. You'll get a very small defense boost. It's nothing to write home about. Honestly, it's better just to have the dragon for, even if the monsters aren't that weak to dragon, I think it's better. But definitely choose what you like. It's not a really big deal. I will say there are better weapons. It's not like the best weapon in the game or anything. But let's face it, Monster Hunter Rise, the base game, is not that hard. Like, you don't need to worry about min-maxing, right? Monsters are going down in comfortable times regardless. So I say it's time to have some fun and use weapons that you like. So here's what this one sounds like. You hear that? And just look at the curve on this thing. It's just really neat, the shape of it. It's got sort of like the serrated stuff. It sort of feels like a fishbone almost, which is funny because Ibushi reminds me of like a whale. It's got that same sort of 2 frills on the handle. I don't know if frill is the right word, but I like it. This one, interesting enough, is missing the little spiky thing in the middle of the handle to kill the hunter, which is nice. But overall, yeah, just a very, very nice looking longsword. Okay, moving on. Let's go to the sword and shield. This one I really like because the design, not only does it glow a lot in the dark, so if you notice if you're in a dark area, it glows like really nice. You get those nice wind effects. It's very cool. But it's also the marshmallow design. I call it a marshmallow because that's what it looks like to me. But the shield just looks almost like... I joke with Yuna about the armor that it's like a neck pillow when you're on an airplane. But it's just like this little squishy, like, airbag of... It looks like a marshmallow to me. It looks nice and comfy, doesn't it? The shield. The design is just absolutely gorgeous again here. The blade, I really like the white on the handle here, combined with just a nice... It just feels like you cut off one of his head horns and are using that to hit the monster. The next one is dual blades. So this one we have the Abyssal Gale blades. This is 210 with long blue. Obviously very good for dual blades to have that type of long sharpness. Same deal with the Rampage skills. Let's go ahead and check out the design. Yeah, so here's what the dual blades look like when they're out. Very pretty. I love how the left one is like sort of got like the scythe design going on. Here's what they look like in motion. Dual blades are so good in this game. Lance is huge. Look at this shield. Like, you can't even see the hunter. 210 attack, again, with the dragon and no themes. The things with the lance, having a lot of sharpness is super comfy, right? The coloring on this one is also pretty unique. You get these like little like triangle stripes around the bottom of the base. But the shield is just so awesome. Look at how big and chunky that is. Feels like I'm in a Dark Souls game or something, and I'm just like, hoya, hoya, like Spartan or something. I'm happy that they give the sun and the shade in the training room, so you can see like the designs, right? Like the what do you call it? The rope that the hunter is holding onto. They just really went through a lot of work to design the scene really beautifully. And just like the pike, which is like its horns as the giant lance with the feathers coming out. It's just overall gorgeous. Now let's move on to Dirtycon's favorite weapon. Well, not this specific gun lance, but the gun lance. This one is interesting. It's a wide level 4, so it's not the best in the game, but it's not the worst. But wide does have kind of problems. It doesn't get as much love as the other gun lances, but that's not what we're looking at today. You can still kill anything in the game very fine with this weapon. That's not the point. So this one I like because it's designed. It almost feels like it's a pineapple with like this. You can see how it's all spiky going down the shaft. It's got all these neat design elements that the other weapons don't have. I gotta admit, it's a little weird seeing like fireworks on Ibushi stuff, but the thing that I love to call out here is look at this little shield here. It looks like a dual blade, doesn't it? It's just like a little teeny shield. But the thing is like the shield is still like as powerful as the lance. It's like the most powerful shield in the game. But it looks really small because they needed to have all that space for the gun lance. And so I think it's cool, and I like that it's curved. Next up is the hammer. So the Abyssal Gale Mauler. See what it looks like in the dark, so you can see the glowing. I don't know why. Like, let me know down in the comments. Am I the only one who cares about the glowing, or do you guys care about that stuff as well? Because I certainly do. Nice wind sounds. But you do get that little light up there. Do you see that? That little purple circle inside the hammer lights up when you get the level 3 charge. So that is a nice touch. This has an interesting design though, doesn't it? It almost feels like it's the claws of Ibushi. Like the tops and bottoms, so they were just pointed in trying to grab something on the end here. You've got like this almost flower-like design in the middle with the spirals and everything. Hammer is really fun. If you haven't tried it in this game, I really recommend it. Also, I can't be the only one who sees it, but sometimes when I'm using this hammer, I'll notice that it almost looks like eyeballs on the hammer, doesn't it? It almost looks like a bird with the glowing eyes. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Okay, now we're going over to the hunting horn. This is another marshmallow one, which I like a lot. So this thing is interesting because it has divine protection, which is crazy because it gives it to everybody. And it does stack with the divine protection that you get for your armor. So it just makes it that much more reliable to activate. And you get stamina use reduced, which is nice, and sonic barrier. So all around, actually interesting songs. It doesn't have attack up, which I know everyone cares so much about, but you know, not the end of the world. But you can hit people with a cute spiky marshmallow. That's the song, and you can see how it like vibrates with the rhythm. Yeah, so for the hunting horn, it's more about, I think, the sound effects than I think it is about anything else. Next up is the switch axe. Switch axe here, 210. It is a power file, which does a lot of damage. But power file is a little bit harder to use in this game because it takes longer for the amp gauge to build up. So I personally would use this if I'm solo hunting And you can do it with the condensed elemental slash because you don't care if people are flying. But let's see the designs of these things. This is the... You know, I'm going to just go out of here and go into the light so you guys can see it. But I get the core like Gormagala vibes from the purple coming down there. But this is the axe. I love it. It's got like that, again, those two sides are both up on their own. Narwa has the same design. Almost reminds me of like old like woodwork, bamboo type of stuff. They do that kind of thing. Yeah. Very cool. And let's transform it. And it looks like the greatsword, doesn't it? So I like how they were able to maintain the same idea, but they were able to do it in a way that still maintains the morphing mechanic of the switch axe. So, and we have the charge blade, the Abyssal Gale ward. This one is interesting. It's got impact file, which is like the default for, you know, KOing monsters. The attack is okay. It's got good sharpness, but it's, again, more about the design than anything, I think, for these weapons. And the fact that it's not like a weak weapon. It's solid. Look at that. Oh, man, this design is so cool. It's a shame that not many people use the charge axe, the charge blade in this game. As it's a fun weapon. It's just they've made it so tricky to use that I hope that they fix that in the next iteration. But the shield has a unique design, so it's not stealing from the lance or the gun lance. It's got its own thing. The back of it has these like little lights, the little purple ones. And when we morph it, that's why it has those design features, is so that the axe can look really cool. And that's what it looks like. Just love the modeling that goes in these things. I wish they had a model viewer in Monster Hunter. If Capcom, if you're for some reason watching this video, please suggest it one day. Like an in-depth model viewer for weapons and gear would be very cool. Then let's go to the insect. I've used this thing a lot. This thing is one of my favorites flat out. It's strong. It's level 6 Kinsect, 210. It's got the dragon. This one you could probably get around with anti-aerial if you like using this against flying monsters. But this amount of blue sharpness on a weapon like the Insect Glaive is just delicious. I don't know if you can see that. And it sort of lights up. Of course, it depends on what bug you're using, how it glows and how it acts and stuff like that. But let's go ahead and grab some colors and see how that goes. There we go. You hear the sort of gales again? It's so nice. Light bowgun. So this one is going to require me to actually put a set on because it's more about the loadout than it is anything else. So let me see if I can find it really fast. Yeah, so the loadout here is spare. This is basically the making rampage easy mode. It's really fun. Spare shot, spread up, recoil down, rapid fire up, all those types of things, ammo up. And the whole point of the marshmallow here, let me go ahead and see, do I have a set for this thing? Ibushi, yeah, I think this is it. I love the design. It looks like a whoopee cushion or something, right? It's got this cute little like donut circle. And the whole point of this one is that it fires rapid, or is it shrapnel 2? Which you don't even have to be aiming at the monster and it hits. So in like a rampage, like can you imagine just like doing this on rapid when you have like the counter gong up? It's absolutely redonkulous because you're hitting not only this monster, but if there's any other monsters next to it, it doesn't steal the bullet, it just does double damage. So you're going to be damaging like 4 monsters at once with this thing. So the clip size, the power, everything paired with like spare shot and everything, it's just wonderful. The Abyssal Gale Barrage. This is the heavy bow gun. So this one is one where you boost a lot of attack. You got spare shot, artillery, ammo up, reload speed, recoil down 3, and stuff like that. So this is, let me put on the actual item set for it. Ibushi. If you notice, these are all my sticky heavy bow guns, just for fun. So like the Zen Ogre, Ibushi, Rajang, and Teostra are all really, really good. So this is actually a contender for one of the best end-game heavy bow guns. There's no clear winner on who the best is, at least in my opinion, but there are several that come very close, and this is one of them for stickies. So it's got like the sticky 2s and 3s, it's got the cluster bombs, which is nice. It's got all this other ammo. I don't worry too much about the piercing stuff, but it's got slicing as well. Pierce as well. Like, it's got pretty much everything you could want. So sticky 2, you can fire while you are walking with this thing, which is nice. I think there was a point in time where they said that the speed would be faster if you were firing while stationary, but I want to say I think that they fixed that. I think that was a bug. I remember seeing that in notes. So you get the monster when it's down, then you can just pummel it with additional cluster bombs. And it's got, of course, my favorite, what do you call it, special move here, which is the Gatling gun. Peace was never an option. Where's my queen? Give her up! Bow. So this is the bow, the Abyssal Gale bow. It's Pierce 2, Pierce 3 for the level 1 and 2, so those are not the greatest. Level 3 is Rapid 4, and you can unlock it to Rapid 5, which is great. It's got Brace, 220 attack. I forgot to mention with the heavy bow gun, where is it? Ibushi. Yeah, so this one you want to use with Pierce effect 2. And the light bow gun is a little special as well. You want to use that with the anti-aerial species I use it with, because you're not going to be firing normal effect anyways. And Ibushi's soul, as I said, is not really important. And with the bow, it's back over to the same as the melee weapon. So this is not... I don't think it's probably one of the weaker ones out of the entire set, so to say. That just because some of the great bows are so broken. But as a visual redesign, like if you want to do a rampage bow and you want to give it a skin for this weapon, I think it's a great contender because it sort of reminds me of the Mizutsune design, just like the overall just sleekness and the design of it. But I love how thick the top is there. With it feels like you get a really strong pull on the bow with it. We'll start with Yuna's top 3. Her number 3 slot surprisingly goes to Charge Blade. She really loves the design of the axe mode. It's so unique, it's so different. She says there's something in Japan that has a very similar design, like it's an actual like thing. She just can't remember the word, but that was her choice. Her second is the Greatsword. She has used this thing so many times because it's so powerful. But she just, I thought she liked the big chunkiness of it, but she said it's actually the large floral design at the handle. Like the base of the blade, there's this big flower, and you've got like the sort of feathers coming out from the top. She likes that a lot. And her number 1 favorite is the longsword, because she says there's not quite any other longsword that looks like it. It's got the nice sort of like fishbone type of, you know, like spikes going down in the blade, and it just looks super unique. For me, my number 3 is the dual blades. I like the fact that they're designed differently. The one looks like a club, like a really violent club, and the other one almost looks like a scythe with that nice, really pointy end to it. And overall, they just look really cool when you're swinging them around. My number 2 has to go to the light bow gun because, one, it is hilarious, the design. It reminds me of the headpiece. Again, it looks like just a big bag of air, which is very on point. I love the fact that it's specifically made for rampages. Like, it's very obvious that this thing is only really good at Shrapnel Rapid 2, which is pretty much for rampages. And being Ibushi and sort of like the source and the man behind the rampage, man, thing, it, whatever, I think is perfect. And my number 1, of course, is the Insect Glaive. I love the Insect Glaive in Rise, along with pretty much every other weapon. But this specific Insect Glaive I used for a very long time. I love the design of it. I love the whites and the blues. It kind of gives me like Dalamadur vibes, because I love those weapons as well. And it's just, you know, nice long blue with great sharpness. Like, how can you go wrong? So it was kind of one of the only of the final 2 boss weapons that was very usable at the end of the game while we were waiting for updates. And even after the updates, it's still very usable, and I like it a lot. Anyways, those are our top 3, and a very long video, almost 20 minutes of talking about Ibushi weapon designs. I did not think I would go this long, but hey, it's an interesting topic that I happen to enjoy. Let me know down in the comments below what your favorite Ibushi weapons are, whether it's because of its power, whether it's because of its appearance or sound or whatever. Very curious to hear what you guys have to say and what your top 3 are. Hope you guys are having a good day, and until next time, happy hunting.